live commerce, TikTok, any platform that aids discovery, any platform that has that leaned in audience is going to drive everything that goes on in e-commerce. But I think it will become more than just the ascendant form of e-commerce. It will be the dominant form of e-commerce in the not too distant future.
Right. And then you do have, as you said, the halo effect that trickles down to all the other channels. You have your Shopify site or whatever you sell on Amazon. So those channels are not going anywhere clearly, but it might be that the actual starting point to interact and engage with a product or a brand might be live shopping rather than scrolling Instagram and seeing an ad or Googling something.
Yeah, and I think it's that interactivity piece as well. And if you think, what's the first thing people normally do when they're discovering products and they go to Amazon, they go to marketplaces, they look at the reviews because that's the way they can get a sense of what the product is. But if you're viewing a live stream, you take that kind of reviewing thing to an immediacy where you can not only ask the host, but you can also communicate with the other viewers. Hey, is anybody, what's your port? And loads of streams that we look at and we analyze, you actually have true purchasers that are also being advocates. And, this was great, did wonders for my hair or whatever. And they're aiding that as well. So I think there's a very different way that the platforms play out in terms of what they do to that customer journey, how they influence it. And I think that's, again, one of the things that as a brand, you need to start looking at really, really closely. Where are we getting that stickiness, the engagement, the advocacy as well?
I think it's going to be super interesting to see what happens to the industry if there is a even larger influx of large sums of money, because large global brands discover this as a main channel for themselves. Because as you said, you kind of don't want to have the studio quality. At the same time, if you're putting a lot of money into it, and you mentioned L'Oreal as one of the prime examples there, they're building 30 studios in just one country. So you kind of want to go the direction of putting more professional setups in place, but at the same time, you don't want it to look too professional. It's going to be very interesting to see how that balance then turns out to be.
I think that's a very great observation. You want to professionalize the operations in order to make it scalable, but you still want to make it authentic as a delivery channel. And you want to keep that two-way communication. You want to not become too corporate, but at the same time, you still have to manage all of those aspects of brand safety and compliance that you have to manage with other channels. And so that's the complexity that's be there as it all grows. But it's great to be in an ecosystem, a world that's growing and trying to help brands solve those problems. So they're good problems to have.
You earlier talked about how the first 15 minutes of going live are crucial for engagement, for the algorithm and TikTok Shop to pick up on the live stream as something worth promoting. Are there certain metrics that people should focus on in those 15 minutes and afterwards to make sure that they get the audience and the push to their audience as opposed to being buried?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And look, we learned this through a lot of our own work and research and analysis. And so, I mean, the number one pointer we give to brands when they go live is the moment you're in front of camera, be there engaging. It doesn't matter if there's just one viewer, you be there, you be engaging, because there have been some streams for big global brands that we've monitored and we've seen fail because the host was there, they were live, there was maybe 2-3 people viewing, and then, we're going to wait for some more people to turn up. And then they just had a conversation with themselves. And that means as people do discover your stream, it's in their feeds. They see you're not engaging or doing anything, they just flick away. The bounce rate's really high. And so that first 15 minutes is what drives it. You have to come out of the gate, be really engaging. You'll get organic traffic. Because if you don't get that organic traffic, even if you boost, you'll get an immediate spike, then the traffic will drop away again. And so almost if you haven't got that engagement in the first 15 minutes, this is where I think a director, a manager of the stream has to make a call. Have we really made a mistake and not done good on this one? Do we think about stopping it and starting again so that we can kind of re-kick the algorithm? Because no matter what, if that 15 minutes fails, you're never going to get a strong amount of views. You're never getting a strong amount of viewers because you drop down and you're punished by the algorithm.